Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me at this time. My name is Shavi Zane, and I'm coming on to bring a message for the chosen. If you find that this resonates with you in any way, please be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and let us know how this resonates with your situation. Chosen, I just have to let you all know that you have been officially labeled a menace to society. You have been placed on the list of those who they need to watch, okay? You're on the watch list. Why is this? It's because you have literally rebelled against everything that's been taught to you. Every illusion, every form of conditioning, everything that's been taught to you, whether it was through the school system, through religion, through politics, you have literally, through the medical industry, all of it. You've been labeled a menace to society because you have clear vision. And you've literally been able to decipher and break down every lie that has been placed before you and your ancestors. And now, not only have you been able to pinpoint the lies, but you are now a walking truth. You live in your truth. You openly express your truth, and you are unapologetic about it. You are not wearing a mask for society, being a people pleaser, being a yes man or a yes woman. You are openly and boldly expressing your disdain for a lot of the illusions that have been placed here in this matrix. You recognize the truth, and it has become your life's mission to be a clear example of the truth. And while you may not be out here trying to convince the sheeple or the sleeple of what that truth really is, you're openly and boldly expressing it to those who are ready and willing to receive it. Oh, you have most definitely become a menace to society because, see, you wasn't supposed to be this way. You were supposed to be a good little zombie, be a good little lamb because Mary had a little lamb, right? You were supposed to stay in the confounds or the boundaries that the powers that were created for you. Who do you think you are to step out here and say that you're not voting? Who do you think you are? You don't believe in the system? You don't believe in the powers that were? You don't believe that they have your best interests at heart? You don't believe in their politics? You don't believe that the school system is really here to raise your children up to be the best men and women they could possibly be? You don't believe that the medical industry's chemicals are actually far better than any herbal supplement? Who do you think you are? How dare you say that religion is outdated? How dare you say that religion is actually bringing down your community? Who do you think you are? You have literally been labeled a menace to society. But I'm sure that many of you out there don't care. You understand that being the rebel is the only way that you can break chains. You want to be the system buster. You want to be the one that reveals the truth. You're not concerned about being anyone's idea of perfection. Not in the matrix, you're not. You're very happy to stand out from that crowd. You take pride in being the greatest version of yourself. You take pride in being able to point out the flaws, to be able to point out the cracks in the matrix. You take pride in understanding things from a higher perspective. You've grown up. You're no longer operating as a babe that's just being directed and guided, misled though, down whatever path the powers that were wants to take you. No, you have now leveled up to the point where you understand that the Most High Mother and Father has granted you an overflow of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that allows you to see past any falsehood that is placed before you. You see right through it. And while there will be many who will stand right there in your presence and tell you that what you see is not true, they'll tell you that you're crazy. They'll tell you that you're a Satanist. They'll tell you that you don't believe in the Most High. They'll tell you that you're wicked. They'll call you a witch. They'll call you a warlock. They'll call you everything but a child of the Most High God. Why? Because they're still very much so asleep. And they love being in that place. And anyone that comes in that tries to wake them up prematurely, oh, they get mad, they get angry, they're ready to fight. But you chosen, you're not even going to waste your energy on those types of people. You've come to a realization that it's not even, it's a waste of time and it's a waste of energy. It's not worth it. People that want to sleep, let them stay asleep. You're not interested in trying to shake anybody awake because you recognize that this is a process of growth. It's a process of awakening. It's a process of people giving themselves permission to see through the matrix. You got to want to see. You got to want to take the pill like they did in the Matrix. You got to want to take the pill that's going to allow you to see. And so you've been placed on the watch list, chosen, because you are a trailblazer and you're meant to see things differently. You are meant to set a new path for others. You're not going to be held down by other people's old belief systems. And because you're okay with being different, because you're actually happy, you're far beyond okay. You're proud to be different. Because of this, doors are opening for you that hasn't been able to open for those people who are still the walking zombies. And they don't understand it because in their mind, they're saying, but I'm an upright citizen. I went and took the vaccination, right? I voted yesterday. I made sure that my children was at school 5 days a week. And I taught them about the Statue of Liberty, and I taught them how to understand the Democrats versus the Republicans, and I taught them, right? People just can't believe that while they're out here strumming the guitar strings to the U.S. corporation, playing the violin in front of the White House, singing the national anthem while they're on their knees, they just believe that everything was supposed to open up to them. All of that infinite wisdom, knowledge, and understanding should have been readily available to them because they're giving Caesar what Caesar is due. Isn't that what the biblical text told you to do? But even that you begin to realize was a whole lie just to keep a particular group of people in power. Those people did a whole lot of work to tamper with the biblical text to ensure that everything that you do would be in alignment with what they tell you to do. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, right? There are people out here that don't understand why they're not having breakthroughs and why they're not able to overcome particular things and why they're not able to become the best versions of themselves and why they're not able to rise above adversity. Why generational curses have not been broken, and it's largely because they refuse to see the truth. They refuse to give themselves permission to become the rebel, permission to become the menace to society, permission to become the one that colors outside of the lines, the one that stands out from the crowd where everybody is shaking their head and saying, oh, that person has veered off. Oh, yes, you most certainly have veered away. Happily and proudly you have veered away from the sleeper. It takes a different caliber of person to come into that understanding. And because you've done this, chosen, you've broken the chains. You're no longer held down or bound by anchors that most of your family, friends, loved ones, co-workers have been bound to and will continue to remain bound to. Your rebellious spirit is what makes you a great teacher. And it makes you the perfect person to bust up and to break down and to tear down all of the falsehood that has been pressed into our ancestors and that they can't continue to try and force feed into our offspring. We're changing the game out here, y'all. And it starts with your mind. It starts with how you process information. But even before you begin processing information, it really begins with completely resetting it all, a total reset. Erase everything that you've been taught. Because when you evaluate the majority of it, you will find that most of it, 99.9% of it, is full of lies. It was fed to you all backwards. And so it definitely begins with giving yourself permission to unsee with your natural eyes so you can start seeing through your spiritual eyes. And too many people live in fear because they know that unseeing and then beginning to see with their spiritual eyes means that you're going to see some things that's not going to feel so good. You're going to start to question yourself. You're going to start to wonder, who am I? I thought this title made me everything. But then you're going to begin to even question the title. You're going to question why you went to school for 10 years. You're going to question everything that you have been investing your time and energy into. Why are you on a usher board? You're going to begin to question why you passing around that doggone basket every Sunday. Why are you eating of the flesh and drinking of the blood? Why are you kneeling down before a European man? You're going to begin to question it all. And in the process of questioning it, you're going to lose a lot of people. It's going to be a lot of people that's going to turn away from you and they're going to say you're crazy. And so you have to be ready for that type of journey. You got to be ready for that part of the journey. Only the strong will survive. Because there will be quite a few who will open up their eyes and they'll open it just a crack and they'll start to see some things and they'll shut them right back. Because they understand that there will be sacrifices that has to be made if you're going to continue down this path. Because the more that you go further down your spiritual path and the higher you rise, the higher you rise, the more you see. The higher you rise, the more expansive your vision. And so there's going to be more and more things that's going to get revealed to you. And there is no turning back when you see it from that perspective. You don't want to turn back. Because you understand that you'll be surrounded by a whole bunch of people who are truly enemies, not just of you, but enemies of themselves. Because there will be too many that will have gotten a taste of understanding, but chose to completely do away with it out of fear of the sacrifices that they would have to make to become a better version of themselves. And so now they become an enemy to themselves and they become an enemy to people just like you, because you are the perfect example of what they wish they would have become had they not turned back around to go back down the wrong path just because the path was wider. Because it was a little bit more cozy and comfy. It was a little less scary because they had more people to side with them and more people to say, yes, you're right. And more people to say, job well done. But see, that narrow path, when you're taking that spiritual journey, that narrow path, very rarely do you come across people who actually are on the same path as you. It can be a long journey that can feel very lonesome if you don't have a divine connection to the Most High in your spiritual team. And if you don't fully understand what the journey is all about, and if you don't begin to find happiness from within, you begin to realize that there's nothing outside of you that can please you. It's a whole lot of changes that have to happen in order to see things from a higher perspective. So give yourself a pat on the back for becoming that menace to society, chosen. You're setting a great example for your offspring, for future generations who will no longer be held down and held captive and enslaved by this system. No, you're setting an example for them to think for themselves, study for themselves, seek out for themselves, go within. You're setting the perfect example that has been long overdue because there was too many of our ancestors and people out here in the world that was afraid to be that example, but you took on the assignment to be just that. So continue to rise above, stand out in a crowd, let the world know that, yes, you are a menace, and not in a way where you're out here to bring harm to anyone. The only thing you want to bring destruction to is this system. The only thing you want to bring destruction to is falsehood. The only thing you want to bring destruction to is fear, enslavement, entrapment of the mind, body, and soul. And you're going to do just that as you continue to rise and be that example. So that's my message for you all. I love you. Like and subscribe, leave a comment below, and I'll talk to you all next time.